house.
Where are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm coming, that's the point.
Get over my cold. Feel better.
Okay. Wait, but what's your type of, we got
We're on a cruise, had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Monday's been hell, it's been a rough day. We got home late yesterday, right when that storm started.
That's really hard to constantly, with the hour, like 46 hours. Hard to get back on.
Let's get back going.
Get back on the stuff.
We went on a road trip in, south to Mexico, to Cozumel, Honduras.
For the,
I just watched my dog, she was just stuff in his whole house, everyone was running out. She's the attorney?
No, we were going out.
We flew out of Texas. We went to Houston and Fort Lauderdale. But there was a ton of people from the Midwest, half that boat from the Midwest, from spring break.
It's been notified, I mean, so basically.
Did Doug call?
It was for-
Haven't heard from
He'd be here.
So we had to go.
It did go in live, so we're live.
All
It's live now. I turned it on to make sure and it went live.
It's live.
I told her daughter, I told some of his friends.
Now they're
Lots
working.
of unclaimed funds that we won't take. So if I get the attorney, was like, here's some, here's the.
Two days out there.
And we'll get the judge to say, you're just a little bit heavy. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I'll-
If he doesn't pass it, then
But that's
that's
another.
what it is.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Well, I'm glad. I just wasn't sure who needed the money, or who gets a couple cents or something. Okay.
Yeah, then we went through the same.
He just wanted to cover his. Hey. She go away, she got.
Were you guys spring break too last week?
Oh,
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
You did, somebody.
Well, it was, since he's brother lives there, he hasn't seen.
Oh, I didn't realize you guys.
Well, just the one, because,
Steph?
but yeah,
Every
so,
excuse to go, right?
exactly.
That's great.
Used to make another trip.
Our kids will always be excited about our
Yeah.
relationship, I'm sure.
They love us.
Let's open up to the Duplex County Council. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are formed tonight. Everyone's here, so I guess I'll start out here. Approval of the meeting minutes of February 24th. I think you were sent out to us. Is there any additions or corrections to those?
I'll make a motion to approve the minute.
I'll second.
First and a second, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Just for the public, the veteran service officer was going to be here, and he couldn't make it, he had something come up, so he will not be here, and then we'll go ahead and call it on here. So we-
So I kind of told Amy that to be here ahead, just in case.
I feel like this is really fun.
No, get up there so we can see you.
so-
Thanks for coming.
It's up there for a reason.
Oh, okay, I thought it was just out of place. Anyway, I'm Amy Kevin Brock here from the clerk's office. I came before and asked about appropriating, $25,000 for furniture, because my initial conversation with Huffman Office Supply led me down the path to believe that was all that we needed. However, now that we're way deeper in the process, he was way off with his approximate calculations, and I've asked for other things, you know, as we went down the journey of what we need in our office. A few weeks ago, deciding how much money we needed to complete the project. We didn't really know the number at that time, so we advertised 25,000, and that's when I'm here asking you to grant out of that perpetuation fund. for me to use to complete this project. I'm hoping to get the final quote from Kimball to Huffman Office Supply to me tomorrow. So I don't think that it's gonna be a total of $50,000, but I think that's well over what we're gonna need, barring any issues. So I think it'll be more in the 35 to 40 range, but I'm not 100% certain what it's gonna be. So we shot a little high whenever we had to advertise a few weeks ago. And that's what I'm here asking you to appropriate so I can be able to place the order tomorrow with Kimball and move forward with this project.
How much are we appropriate?
There was 25,000 before, and I'm asking for 25,000 more.
So asking
So a total of
appropriate.
50. We did 25 already. That's already there and set up. So I'm asking for an additional 25,000.
It's coming out of the clerk's growth.
Yes, yes. We're limited on what we can spend that money on. There are certain things that the state dictates to us, and every time we use it, we have to come and get it appropriated. I think we have a small amount that we use for office supplies every year, but it's very limited on what we can spend it on, but this is one thing that we can use it for. We bring in roughly $30 to $35,000 a year into that fund. Previously, we spent that money only on salary for records librarian or the part-time scanner that we had down there in person. Otherwise, we've really not used that money for things. So the money there's more than enough money in that fund to appropriate, and it doesn't deplete the fund either. So
Do you know how much is in there today?
300,000 roughly.
Just curious.
There was roughly $283,000 in there whenever I took office, and there's roughly 300,000 in there now. Try to be very mindful of not depleting it, but using it when we can. We used it when we put the door in the back of our clerk's office. We've used it for
Did you guys do
copy machine, the copy machine in the records library.
carpet? Did
Sorry?
you use it for some of your carpet?
The carpet was the thing that we couldn't use it for, but we used it for the door and the security locks.
Yeah.
We've used it for, we have a upgraded safe in our office for financial stuff that we handle. Some other things, it's generally things around record keeping, and the security of record keeping.
And the 30 to 40 that come in, I'm just curious, where's that money generated from?
Every time we sell a piece of paper.
It's a paper, it's the
Yes,
paper.
and every time somebody comes to the clerk's office and they want a copy of a record, or if they want something certified, a record certified. So you can come and get your marriage license, or maybe you need it for a legal reason, so then you need it certified. That money goes into that fund. That's the only thing.
What
That's the
about,
only
what
money
about,
that
was
goes
it, Docs box?
We don't use Docs Pops out of, you can't get,
You can't.
you can use mycase.in.gov to find court records, and if there's, sometimes records are there, if a judge signs that record, those are supposed to be available on MyCase. That's just a public courts website for the state of Indiana. We do not use DocsPop. DocsPop buys their data from the state of Indiana, and they load that website, but there shouldn't be any court documents that are available on that website.
It's more recorded deeds.
And because and for the recorder's office, they use that, and you can go on that online and purchase your documents that you need from their office. We have to physically certify something in our office to make it a certified or a legal document. So it's a little different than being able to use DocsPop. So you have to come to the clerk's office to get a court record that's certified.
How much a piece of paper costs?
When you buy a court record from our office, it's $1 per page and $3 per certification. $3 certification is set by the state. $1 is an accounting ordinance. We could go up to $5 for our copies. $1 is reasonable in my opinion.
That's cool, I'm just curious how, I mean,
Yeah.
you're making some copies.
I think there's some clerk's offices in the state that they use that to help pay salaries, and I have always been cautioned to not do that from the beginning when I came into office, just because it can deplete your fund and then you don't have money to pay an employee, even if it's a partial payment to an employee's salary. So I think that's about the only thing that I've heard of that people pay with their perpetuation fund outside of when things come up and things are broken, copy machines or locks on doors or furniture in the clerk's office.
Sounds good.
Makes sense.
So, understanding the situation which we went through last month with the first part, I mean, does anybody want to make a motion or got any?
I'll make a motion to approve the additional 25,000.
So we got a motion in favor. Meredith is seconded, so for discussion. Otherwise, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Well, good luck with it.
Thank you.
I guess if
Appreciate
it only goes 35,000, the rest to go back into your.
Right, whatever's not expensive, it'll remain back into the perpetuation fund.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, thanks.
Marlon, are you ready? So you want to introduce yourself?
Yep, Carla Striegel Winter, DuBois County Solid Waste Management District. I'm here tonight to ask for an additional appropriation of up to $60,000 to spend on 2 trucks that we require to be replaced. We just had incredibly bad luck to have this happen both at the same time, but we did request to the commissioners approved, as well as my board is supportive of this. I can tell you a little bit about it if you want me to, or I don't know.
Why
if
don't you
guys
at least address what happened
Sure.
with the pickup?
Yeah, so we have a, so I'll just kind of mention the box truck too. We had a really old box truck that had 330,000 miles on it that had a repair in December that we decided was too expensive, and then we would just proceed with trying to get a different box truck. So there was that. And then unfortunately our little 2000 Ranger that we've had since I came in 2014, it got creamed at the Y in Jasper. It was not our fault, but it just took a long time for that to go through as far as the insurance process. So we're needing to replace that so that we have another like small pickup truck type vehicle as well. So, and we did get, what was it, $8,000 and some dollars from the Ranger, from the insurance company. So Sandy has that truck. And I think has already
It's
cashed
been
that.
deposited in the Cube Cap fund.
So, anyway, so basically, these are 2 vehicles that we've had for a really long time that just need to be replaced, and we're replacing them with used vehicles. So, we should be able to do that with the 60,000 for both vehicles.
Were you able to, you had sent something on maybe that pickup?
Yes, so, of course, this is all contingent on whether we get the money or not, but yes, so we do have a used pickup truck that we're looking at with Eagle Wars, that they're kind of holding it for us. And then we also have a box truck that we've been able to kind of pick out and hope that they are kind of holding that for us with Sternbergs. So.
Were you able to get the mechanics to look at that?
Yes, and I'm sorry. Yes, so we were able to get the mechanics to look at both vehicles that we have looked at. Well, we've had them look at 4 different vehicles. Yes, they have looked at both of the ones that we are intensely looking at right now. So.
I know you had a hard time finding a box truck, so this one has like the lift gate and everything you need.
Yes, this has the lift. It's a 2022. Has a backup camera. Has only 49,000 miles on it. Has a lift gate. Yeah, so it should. And one reason before we were having trouble finding a box truck is the amount that we were trying. We were trying to go under 20, and just there wasn't anything out there that we felt like was suitable, that would be safe and would keep running for the, I'm hoping that I don't have to get another vehicle while I'm still around. I mean, these have lasted 10 years, so we'll see.
Okay, so we can, I guess we can approve this tonight, right? 'Cause
It's been advertised, Q cap 60,000.
Okay. So further discussion with Carla? Any questions or anything?
Really good job.
Oh, I know, it's been
Yeah, that's pretty
awful.
impressive,
Like,
really.
it's been awful.
I think you did a great job of finding these and just everything. I know it's
It's
probably
taken a lot of
a
time.
lot of work on your part, but that's great getting
Yeah.
those two vehicles at that price.
I feel like, and we were just talking not that long ago about them being on the fence, or, you know, like we were needing a truck and how the whole town.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it was, yeah.
Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve that 60,000.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Doug has made a motion, I have a second.
Second.
Dina has seconded. So further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thanks.
Okay, thank you guys very much. My staff is gonna be tickled, it'll be like Christmas.
See you in the morning, Carla.
Kent, you,
Chris.
oh, Chris, I'm sorry. Can you want to speak about your, this is the abatement,
Yeah,
the yearly abatement of personal property, right?
yeah, I think this is the last year for, burn of course, but thank you for the previous years. In 2021, we opened Santa Family Meat Market in St. Anthony, and we got the abatement to buy all the equipment for the building, so. Since that time, we have, between the two processing plants, we now have over 80 employees. We slaughter 100 beef and 150 hogs a year. And we've also allowed the Fisher Farms family grow their business. Without the expansion, we were kind of deadlocked in ourselves two facilities. So, you know, we're pretty much on pace of what we expected. Our business growth was good over the last few years. And we just would like to continue our abatement with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I reviewed it, I didn't see anything, I mean, it's amazing, like you say, you had mentioned we estimated 24 employees, and I'm just saying,
Between the two,
kind of far, we get 77 to 80, and then the salaries went from estimated 800,000 to 1,369,000, so that's pretty great growth. So I don't see, personally, I reviewed it, does anyone else have any issues with it? Otherwise, like you said, this is the last year of the 5-year abatement. So I'll entertain a motion, I guess, to approve this compliance.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Alex has made a motion, and I have a second. Further discussion?
I made it.
Further discussion, anyone? So otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wish you continued success.
We'll send the paperwork tomorrow
Okay.
to all of you, so Lynn has your contacts.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
So Jesus, I guess. Just one time.
Just you, yes. And then I'll attest it.
Good afternoon, guys. Everybody.
So,
My name's Jesus Mars. I'm the Chief Deputy for the West County Sheriff's Office. I come today for a couple of things. I guess we can start with appropriation for the firearms fund. I believe before, so the firearms training used to be that we got money from gun permits and fingerprints and stuff like that. For the state changed it a couple of years ago where they don't do fees for fingerprinting anymore. So now the state puts in money into that account that goes for like, we buy our tasers out of there, our cartridges, our targets, our ammo, guns for the officers to outfit them, and also the bulletproof vest. That's what we use that for. So instead of us having to turn in a bill every time that I go get a guy, so a bulletproof vest is good for about 4 years, and then 4 or 5 years. And then after that, we have to go get a new one and everything. So instead, of doing that to you guys every single meeting asking for money. I was wondering if we could appropriate $10,000 into that account where I can use it. It can only be used for firearms related stuff for that. About every 5-6 years, I go in and buy a large amount of ammo, depending on how much ammo we have. Of course, your officers have to train every year with ammo, state certifications and everything. I believe the last time I bought ammo was 2 years ago, and I think it was roughly around $20,000. During COVID, I tried to buy ammo back then because we were getting down to just a handful of cases, and I tried to buy ammo and it was 4 times the price of what it is now. So I waited till everything dropped and I went ahead and made a large purchase, but I don't see myself doing a large purchase like that. If I do, I definitely come up and say, hey, here's the quote for 20,000 rounds, 5.56 or 20,000 rounds of 9mm rounds and stuff like that. But again, the $10,000 that I'm asking for today is just kind of maintenance for our firearms training and stuff.
Sounds good.
Maintenance and vest. And
Yeah, for like firearms related stuff, maintenance, not maintenance in general, but like vests, weapons, anything that's needed along for that.
Does this go into a fund that specifies that it can be spent
Yes.
on
Yes.
guns?
That's-
It's laid
It's
out.
a firearms training fund that only can be used for that.
And what's in that fund right now?
I don't even know how much is in there.
Between 90 to 100,000. And again, that's one of those that I'm very careful on spending because I don't know when the state's gonna say, we're not giving you money anymore. So I don't wanna deplete that. So I'm very, very careful with that line item for sure.
And you get that money from the fingerprints or
Used
just
to
the
be.
guns?
Used permits. It was from getting fingerprinted back then and I believe from gun permits, but since the state of Indiana went away from charging for gun permits and everything, now we don't charge people for that. So the state then gives us money
Just get
to
to
supplement that.
amount and
Yes.
stuff. Okay.
Right, Sandy?
It's correct.
Just out of curiosity, since you have to buy new bulletproof vests every 4 to 5 years, what do you do with the old ones? I would think, do you trade
Have an
them in,
officer keep it in
sell
their
them?
vehicle, you can't, because the warranty won't, and that's one of those things that I don't wanna see, it works after the warranty, or no, it doesn't work after the warranty, so we let the officers keep it in their vehicle. Sometimes if they don't have their vest on them and they see something happening, at least they got something they can throw on. Something's better than nothing, but we don't use that as a primary.
It's like car seats that expire, right?
Yes,
Kind of.
so if you're involved in an accident, your car seat's no longer good. I don't understand how and why, or if that breaks down the plastic, it's one of those things like,
So,
you want those to work, so,
sure.
Take a chance with it.
absolutely.
How often are the firearm trainings held?
At least, at bare minimum, once a year. We try to do 2 or 3 a year. Again, we have shotgun, your duty gun, your rifle, and your backup weapon.
I wasn't sure if this was something that was needed to maintain any type of certification.
You do. That's the state of Indiana requires you to be a certified law enforcement officer. There's certain requirements that are required by the state to be trained in firearms, defensive tactics, evasive driving, other things like autism, bloodborne pathogens, de-escalation, and certain things like that. We have to maintain 7 hours. So there's some that training to further your education, but there's some that at bare minimum you have to have, and those are to keep your certification as law enforcement, you have to have those.
Can you buy the 5.56 and steel case ammo instead of brass, save some money?
I can't remember, there was a reason not to do it. I don't know if that messed with guns or not, but I can't remember, because that was an option back then that I was looking at that, and because I even back then even looked at possibly buying reloaded ammo, and it's just, you just can't take a chance with that.
You're picking up your brass and saving your brass.
We're not.
I mean, that's almost worth doing now.
I guess you could.
You know, they credit you a little bit when you, the big ammo suppliers. I just didn't know, because I know it's a big jump when you go from steel case to brass. So I don't know how you guys did that, because you were shooting a ton of rounds there at the firing range. So.
Any other questions? Otherwise, I don't know. Then we've got its additional appropriation of $10,000. I'll entertain a motion to approve $10,000.
I'll make that motion to approve $10,000.
Okay, Ronnie has made a motion, I have a second.
I'll second.
Sonia has seconded. All for the discussion. Otherwise, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Approved.
The second item I have is trying to buy 2 new vehicles. One would be a Tahoe and one would be a Durango. And I also printed up our maintenance on those vehicles that I think I emailed you everything else but these. And that's essentially the maintenance you guys asked last year or the year before that, I'm not sure on timelines, to start maintaining a maintenance sheet on every single vehicle that we have, so I have. And as you can see on some of the maintenance vehicle, one that I'm trading in, it's a Dodge Durango that has, I believe, 84,000 miles. But unfortunately, that Durango has given us nothing but headaches. That Durango will be the one that has the last 4 of the VIN 8996.
That's the one you're trading in?
No, I'm sorry, it's the last one, the last page on the back.
9168.
Yep. I'm sorry, A7357, it'll be the 3rd page. So that one, we've had to replace the new injectors, which back then I think it was sold under warranty, but there's other things that were done to it that still cost us $800. Cylinders were misfiring, engine codes, it's one of those vehicles that we were just constantly in the shop having problems. And even this last time, we actually had a subject that deputy took under custody, and when he was taken to his car, the guy kicked his car. So of course, we had to do an insurance claim and try and get back pay from the courts by hand. And finally, he got his vehicle. He was like, finally, my vehicle's put together for once. That after he's calling me that he's got a leak, an oil leak on his vehicle. It ended up being a pan or something inside the engine that started leaking. So it's just that it was just being problematic. So that's why we wanted to get rid of that one, because it's got 84,000 miles. The other vehicle, which is also a Durango, has had a lot of electrical issues where the blowers don't work inside of it for like the AC, the defroster, and typically in the summer it wouldn't be bad, but when it's 100 degrees and you have somebody in the back or you're cruising around, it just makes it unbearable. In the winter, it causes an issue because if you can't defrost your window, there's no way you can safely drive around, and you can't even get to the police station with that vehicle without calling somebody else to come and get you. The third vehicle is also a Dodge Durango, and that one has 120,000 miles on it. And actually, that's what telling you it's going to be the two Dodge Chargers and the 2 Durangos. The one with the blower motor that has the electrical issues, I think we're going to keep that as a pool vehicle, because I believe it only has 54,000 miles on it. So I think if it's only used intermittently and not all the time as a primary vehicle, I think it'd be okay. But initially, it was due to be traded in, but unfortunately, the council, they only approved 2 vehicles, so we decided to keep that one out of the 4. And that's what we were going for. And I hope during our budget hearing this year to work with you guys and get on a rotation plan and a working plan to see the future, not foresee the future, but to set up a plan in motion. So when January of next year comes, I've already have the approval for how many vehicles we can get, what vehicles we're gonna change. Because again, once we start the ordering, it takes some time for the vehicles to get here. Once they get here, they still take them a good day, 6 to 8 weeks to get outfitted and everything. So that already puts us halfway in the summer. So again, here we are in March, and hopefully by the end of the summer, I'll have these vehicles outfitted in October.
So that, I guess the reason, for some of the new council people, you're not new anymore, but the reason we changed that quite a few years ago, at least 4 years ago, is because, during budget time, we, once we put that in the budget, I mean, the information of the vehicle would be there, but that's August when we get to the, so, but anyway, we used to budget so many dollars, well, then we lose control. And do we need 4 vehicles every year? That's the thought process. Doug, you probably remember. That's why we pulled it out. And we just left it that they would come in and ask for another Cume Cap. So just so you understand what, how we did that. I know it doesn't seem, but we got it in Cume Cap. It's not like it's maybe not. It's an operating expense, but it's capital improvement, so that's why we go.
I know that I've checked around a little and like Jasper, for example, they're replacing at least 3 a year and they're on rotation. I guess I don't know that it wouldn't be that awful to have it as a line item to expect 3 a year, to be able to budget that, because it seems like we're gonna be doing 3 at least every year.
It just seems, nothing. It just seems like when you got a vehicle, just like we were talking about, maybe replacing a vehicle with 54,000 miles on it. To me, that doesn't make sense. But I'm not saying if the vehicle's causing so many issues, but how do you get that into a rotation when it's one of the newer vehicles? That's my thought. But we can look at it at budget time and then discuss it further.
Absolutely. Like one of the vehicles I have now, I couldn't justify. It's technically be up for rotation because it's a 2020 vehicle, and every 4 years we would try to change it. But that vehicle has been reliable. It's only has 54,000 miles on it, so I can't see myself trading that good vehicle for just because a new one. So again, that's where I'm actually glad you guys asked for the vehicle maintenance, because it absolutely, there's 20-something vehicles to keep track of, and it's nice to go to that and have we had any issues with that? Well, here's the line item of everything. And again, that's why I brought to you this year for the Tahoes, because I want to try the Tahoes on the road. They're different than the Tahoe that I drive. So my Tahoe that I drive is essentially a detective model, administrative model that is keyed down. The one that we're going to get for the road, it's pursuit rated, which means the suspension's different, it's geared differently, because again, they take off faster, they brake faster, around the curves, the suspension and everything. So I want to see if those hold up a lot better than the Durangos. The Durangos were doing great for a while, but it seems like here in the last year, and I know I've been keeping up with state police and some of their manufacturing is just a little piece that's been thrown off. There are mechanical issues that it regulates, I believe, the gas and the oil, and it's what's been making their engines go up. We've had Tahoes for about 2 years now, and I haven't even replaced the brakes on them. My Tahoe has, I think, 26,000 miles on it, and we still haven't replaced the brakes, aside from the regular maintenance of oil changes and stuff like that.
But none of those are pursuit Tahoes.
Correct. And we don't drive them as much as what the road officers are going to be responding to hot calls and everything. So that's why I want to try a Tahoe, but also a Durango just in case the Durangos are coming back better again. I don't know. I want to try something different to see if that's going to be better in the long run, and maybe we can keep the Durangos longer. I asked the salesperson, it's Fort Wayne, that's who has the state government bid. The Tahoe for them is quoted at $51,900. Actually, when I went to them, I'm like, so can I have one personally? That's a great price. And they said, no. That's a special service vehicle that can only be sold to government entities at such a discounted rate. And he told me to go check that one in the lobby, and that was about $30,000 more than that one. So that's why there's such a price difference there in that one. And I asked him about trading, and I said, is it going to be better? He said, it's a large range. I can tell you anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 in trading. So he said, unless we're ready to do the trade-in, that's when I can give you the real numbers. I'm like, yeah, $10,000, it's a big range. So that's what he would put the trade-in range at, $10,000, $20,000
For each
one.
And then also, does that 51.9 include the outfitting?
No. So I have the separate outfitting for them. Did you not get a copy of that in the email?
It was $12,000.
Yes. Here's some both. Between the Tahoe and the Durango, I think it was only like $1,000 difference.
How much was the Crown Vic when you got quotes?
Back then, probably $20,000. So even the Durangos, before COVID hit, the Durangos, we were able to pick them up for $29,000, $30,000. And I would have never guessed in 5-6 years, we were gonna be paying $44,000 for them. So.
Just a side note on the, I think we looked at the insurance too, for all these vehicles, I'm not sure per vehicle. I mean, between the Durango and the Tahoe, I thought it was about $700 or $800 more for liability and collision, that kind of thing. So I think the commissioners looked at that too, because, and that's why they, I don't know if we want to start buying how much the Tahoe is, because our insurance is already up considerably, on liability and that type of
Hey,
thing.
Zeus, do you have a chance to know what motor that Tahoe has?
Is it
It
on
was
this
on that
quote?
paper. I saw it.
Is it the 6.2?
Either a 5.7 or 6.
There's a 6J on here.
I feel like it was the
Five
5.
point-
Need
5.3.
anything?
Okay, that's good. 'Cause
Yes, 5.3.
the 6.2 has got major problems, probably worse than the Durangos. I think I got to recall most of those.
So in theory, Jesus, would you think we're spending $9,000 more now said and done insurance that for a Tahoe versus Durango?
Time will tell. Time will tell, because I know, like I said, the administrative vehicles that are Tahoes now, I know we're gonna keep them longer than 4, 5, 6 years, even maybe 10 years. So I'm hoping that the maintenance will pay for itself on the Tahoes. But only time will tell. That's why I want to try one of each. Well, I know what the Durangos, the capabilities and the issues with them. So if that would fix the Durangos and all the problems, then yeah, they're a good vehicle as long as they stay running. But I don't know about the Tahoes. I want to try something bigger and stronger to see if maybe we can go even longer with them. So time will tell. Maybe in 6 years I'll be here. It's like, yeah, best thing we ever did was switch to all the Tahoes, but the only way to find out is to try it out.
So, question I have on the service, Citgo, we got Citgo Fast and Sternberg's. Do they, is that the one on Sternberg's at Citgo?
No, it's the one on the north side.
Would they service then the Tahoes and the?
That's who service all our oil changes and everything.
Okay.
And just because they're convenient, you can just pull up, get your oil change, and be back on the road and everything. And some other places, you have to make an appointment, drop off that vehicle, have somebody else pick you up, and it just convenience-wise, that's why we go over there. It's just in and out real quick, back on the road.
Okay, well, thanks for explaining that.
Yes, sir.
Is it the deputy's job to make sure they get their oil changes on time?
Yes.
So, commissioners approved, like, Lisa said, one of each, Durango and one Tahoe.
And then to trade in 4.
Trade in 2 used Durangos, kind of like what you said, and then the strike force funds are gonna help pay for a new van, is that right? You can buy a new van?
They did already, yes,
Okay.
for a new undercover vehicle,
Okay.
yes.
And are you gonna trade the Grand Prix and the Tyrell?
We did already,
Okay,
yes. So those are off the books.
okay. So, what's your ask this evening?
So my ask would be, for one Durango and one Tahoe would be $120,000 for both vehicles and outfit both vehicles. To be the exact number to the penny would be $119,870.30. And that's outfitting the Durango and outfitting the Tahoe.
Can you repeat that, 119?
119,870.30.
Okay. So would you reuse the equipment? I mean, the flash, the lights and all that?
So some of it is, most of the time, and that's why I like our own guy taking everything off. We trade vehicles in, we strip everything off of it. Some parts we can use and some parts we can't. So sometimes, like the radars that we have in there, some of those have been already upgraded or moved to 3 different vehicles that on the 4th one's like, this is junk. There's no refacing it or surfacing. That one's got to go. So we do try to do that. And that's one of the reasons why I go with the last training last year with an agency, with a dealership in Salem, because they were wanting to give us their price on the dollar, and they wanted all the equipment, which is, along with the equipment, we might have that. I don't know if I can use all that equipment or not, but we do continue to reuse the equipment that we can.
Can we sell this to another county?
I tried. And, it wasn't feasible. That's why we went ahead and just auctioned them off after we stripped everything off. That's what we did. I tried even several local small agencies running up counties, and nobody wanted them.
Nobody wants to use it for free,
but
It used to be classic.
I would take the convicts in a heartbeat. Yeah. You could not hurt those cars.
So, I mean, should maybe ask you, but the Toyota, or not the Toyota, the Tahoe, I mean, if that had a warranty issue, would a local Chevy dealer be able to
Yes.
service that?
Yes,
You don't have to bring it back to Fort Wayne.
correct. No, any Chevy dealership will work on the warranty or anything.
Okay.
Because even some of the vehicles that we had bought in Washington, Dodge vehicles, Starbucks here in town has serviced it, the warranty and everything else.
Okay. Okay, any other questions or?
Is John Jones the one you priced where you couldn't get the deal? And we did business with them, right?
Nope,
I didn't think so.
we quit doing business because of that. I think they wanted to give us $2,500, $3,500 for the vehicle, fully outfitted, and it's just, they weren't doing business the right way. And again, I owe it to our citizens to try and find the best deals and everything we can out of our vehicles. So it was just not a good deal plan over there.
So, further questions on what, are we ready to move on to the $120,000 two vehicle?
We have not advertised that, so
And
it'll
that's
be for
what
next.
we would just have to advertise,
For April.
get permission to advertise. But we all, we have a, I guess, just a show of hands tonight and see who's in favor of purchasing two vehicles. Looks like unanimous, so you're okay there. We'll put it on the agenda for next month.
Okay, I can start at least replanning and getting some of the dealerships in order, and our guy that does all the upfitting and downfitting too, and stuff, so we can maybe start scheduling that sometime.
Okay.
I think that's all I have
And
today.
your last issue, is that what you've got?
Nope, that should be it.
Yeah.
Right. I
You
forget
don't want to
anything.
talk about personnel?
Well, we had that on the agenda, but the commissioners did not approve it, so he can't really.
They essentially tabled it, or the motion died, so we're still talking, so maybe next meeting we'll continue that, but essentially it's mute subject right now until maybe they get an approval or not, then we can talk about that again.
Okay, I mean, my concern with them, with more personnel is again, the uncertainty with the state legislature. I'm concerned, and if we put, they're talking, and one of their ideas is that they put a freeze on 2026 levy. So, I mean, it's gonna be difficult, just like here, to provide two new officers, or, with new vehicles, you're talking this, plus, all the other things, the retirement, the health insurance, all the benefits. So, I mean, it's gonna get difficult for us to continue to add positions. That's my opinion, so.
I know we had this conversation about 2 years ago, and I think the thing at the time was wait till the jail is done, see what the lit tax is and everything. And again, unfortunately, the needs of the county are still there. And again, we can discuss that, and sure what our projections, what our needs are. It's just we're in need of people, and unfortunately, that's not gonna change.
I just think just like anything else in the federal government and the state government, I think efficiencies, I think we have to look at running government more efficient.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
Speaking of the federal government, I've been asking a few times, if ICE would do raids in Du Bois County, would you guys have to assist and provide manpower for those raids?
So we've had this conversation. We would be there for the safety of the public and for the safety of the officers. We not necessarily would enforce it, but we would be there to essentially maintain the peace and make sure that the officers are safe and the citizens are safe.
I just wondered because, you know, it could potentially be a manpower issue if you were expected to provide something I didn't know. And people ask me that question, so.
Again, we haven't received any orders, so again, I can't comment on it, but at this point, we would make sure that our citizens are safe and the officers are safe. That would be the extent of our standing right now.
Additional job requirements, we do that.
Well,
I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you
Thank you.
coming in. Thank you. So, Brett, are you ready?
I guess. Ready or not, Erica?
So if you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Brett Eckert. I'm with the, I'm County Council President, Town of Birdseye. Also here with Joey Swartz. He is our water sewer superintendent. He's been with us for quite a few years and does a wonderful job. So I think we sent the letters out to you guys, basically just kind of giving a brief history. 2015, we've done a water and sewer study in the town of Birdseye. At that point in time, they wanted to go after the water because they felt that was the most important to go after at that point in time. And then 2017, they did go after the local grant, got that, got a lot of the water situations taken care of there at that point in time. So I come in 2018, for town council and go on to the board. And one of my main things was looking after the water and sewer. With small utilities, it's just a struggle sometimes, but we're doing the best that we can. So we did, in 2015, they done an original smoke test. We did another one last year to just kind of update our information, just to make sure there wasn't something that was worse that we needed to go after, kind of do our due diligence. So we did that last year. A lot of the things that came back was some things had been fixed, but there's still quite a few areas that we need to fix. Most of it is the manholes and things like that, and some of the piping that is there. Most of the pipes, water and sewer, unfortunately, are 50 plus years old that are there. So we are looking at going after an Oprah grant. And I think in the letter there, it basically states we, through the town, are wanting to go after through the Water Alliance, getting $200,000 where we will have to borrow from them to go after. And we're also then asking the county for roughly $350,000 to help us to move forward with this. $750,000 is the max cap of the Okra grant that we want to go after, or that we can get through that process to help us. And I forgot the year, I think it was 2015, IDEM also placed us under a sewer ban, which basically means that we cannot add any new connections or anything at that point in time. So we've been on that for a while. We did just get our updated letter last week that we are still on the sewer ban, unfortunately. Some of the things that we've done, when I came in, I started looking at it. We have raised rates through the water and sewer a few times here in the last few years. If you need any of that information, I can kind of let you know. We have raised the rates on both water and sewer. Birdseye, we're about 46,000 median household income, so we're trying to be responsible there without raising the rates too much. But we've raised them quite a few different times here in the last 4 or 5 years, 6 years. So.
Can you discuss the total cost and it also includes lagoons?
Yeah.
Once you.
Yes.
This is for the public to know.
Yeah. When I first looked at it to start with, if hindsight was there, we could have easily tried to do it then. We would have been in great shape. But since the first process, we have, as everybody knows, things have increased. So what we originally wanted to go after was if we would go after everything, it's going to be about like 2.7 million. Well, that's not possible in the town of Birdseye in any way, shape, or form. Joey and I have narrowed things down to where we believe we will get everything fixed that needs to be fixed and get us set for the next 20, 30 years to where we can continue to move forward, get us off of the sewer ban, and then get us to move forward and progress forward. A lot of the rehab stuff, most of the rehab, we've got almost $40,000 with the manhole rehabs, which would also reduce the infiltration. And then some of the piping and everything else is another $240,000. The lift station rehab is $28,000. And then also one of our issues, we do have lagoons on the south side of Birdseye. Those things have probably not been dredged that I know of in a long time. So one of the major costs on that was $379,000, which is the dredging of the lagoons. Does anybody have any questions on that? Or
Does those lagoons have a liner? Or is it just like?
no, Joey, you want to? Yeah. Yeah. Basically, I mean, the sediment comes in. They have increased. We have been also for the last probably 2 years adding more chemicals to try to get that to reduce and to stay. We've kind of maintained, luckily with that, but at some point in time, they're going to have to be dredged. There's just no question.
So you're talking like the Amish coming in with the churners and skimming them out and hauling it off, or what process are you guys talking about?
From my understanding, and Joey, you can jump in if you want to, basically, everything has to be pulled out and gets laid out onto mats, per se, to be dried out, and once it's dried out and it's deemed safe, then it can be hauled off at that point in time. You want to add anything to
They
that?
put it in a sock, is what they do, like a big sock. And it's gonna sit there for X amount of time for it to dry out, and then you can get a land permit to.
Do you have any permits for the biosolids for any farms, so you guys can get rid of it without having to haul it, because that's gonna be super expensive.
The way I understand that was figured even with this try to get land permit or the whole,
Because I know, I'd say I could probably find a farm or two, locally that would take that, because I'd save a ton in trucking. It's gonna be outrageous.
Yeah.
and it's a lot.
Yeah, the land application in there is what, 34,000 in the,
And that's bare bones. You guys
Yeah.
ain't wasting money.
no. And that's, like I said, that's basically what we've done. We felt like we didn't go after everything. We went after the bare necessities, the things that we have to get done to progress forward. So we have had here lately, in the last couple of years, people wanting to add on, not a tremendous amount, but unfortunately we cannot at this point in time. So it hurts our growth also in our community.
So Greg, could we, I'd like to hear Region 15's.
Yes, absolutely.
They're part of the, I think this is a critical part of this, because I think my understanding of what you're asking the county is to have a letter of commitment for that amount of money to try to go after the grant with Aurora. So maybe you could explain again to the public also.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Thundra. I'm the project administrator with Indiana 15 Regional Planning Commission. We have worked with Birdseye along the way since the beginning. In 2014, obtaining the Ochre grant to do their wastewater and drinking water study. And in 2017, to get the $450,000 Ochre grant on the water improvement. Since then, we've worked with the town to try and find funding for the wastewater. We have explored USDA loans, SRF, the state revolving fund. The amount of money that Birdseye needs, looking at their financials, looking at the numbers, working with the clerk treasurer, they cannot afford the payments. So that is why we are coming here. The current rate, so in 2019, the sewer rate was $31,020 per 4,000 gallons. And it has been raised in 2020, 2022, and again in the fall of 24. It is now $45.32 per 4,000 gallons. Likewise, the water rate in 2019 was $51.16. It was raised in 21 and 23 and is now $53.56. The town has worked with Midwestern engineers for many years on developing a plan on how to move forward. As Fred had said, it was over $2 million to begin with. And they have pared it down to the bare necessities to get off the sewer ban, to make sure things function properly, and to be able to move forward, allow connections. The detail list that we included with the letter from Midwestern Engineers breaks down the cost for each improvement. And so what we are looking for is a commitment from Du Bois County to fund a $350,000 match. It might be less. It's just going to depend on where the costs come in. But we are looking at applying for a round one Okra application. Proposals are due on April 17th. This is our deadline to go to Okra and say, we have this project, here's the basis for it. Is this something you would consider? And so they will come back and say yes or no. And if they do want us to proceed with the application, our deadline for the application is May 16th. And by that date is when I would need confirmation, a resolution for match, some other documents that if you approve, I would work with Sandy and Greg to ensure the language was correct and appropriate for the grant. So that's when I would need that by. The awards will be announced August 21st. And we will have 18 months from that date to complete. So we'll be looking at February of 2027. Bids, we would have to be going to bid by 6 months after that August date, so February of next year. And so we could expect spring of 26, early summer 27 before the project would actually start moving and funds would be spent. Are there any questions regarding the process regarding Okra financials?
I've got some questions, and maybe the operator might know too, but so the couple $1 million quote that you obviously aren't gonna do, was that for like a package plant and to just get away from lagoons, or was it just more?
Just more infrastructure stuff that, some of it was replacing some of the pits that we have where
We just want to put in a complete new lift station. We still got the old dry well and one of them. And they completely put a new one of those, and that was a big cost. And then the next cost was that we're not doing now is we keep thinking eventually IDEM's gonna make us treat the water when we discharge it. We're not set up for that, so some of that was in there.
The final flood, you mean
To add chlorine and dechlorinate before we discharge.
And then does the engineering firms or do you guys think IDEM or the engineering firms will ever just do away with the lagoon system, and then in 5 years we're gonna say we can't use lagoon systems like Holland and Birdseye have, and we gotta upgrade again? Do you think that's a
I
possibility?
don't see that happening within the next 50
It's
It seems like that would
Strathhouse,
be very far down the road. You're
Yeah,
gonna just
there would have to be
pull a
some
switch
kind
like
of-
that.
major shifts.
yes, I mean, and funding to do the process. There's, what, 3 or 4 in southern Indiana yet that I know
I
of.
think
So
there's
I
like
can do.
16 total.
And Birdseye did explore the possibility of the regional wastewater, their system connecting on. Pinoka is not interested in connecting Birdseye. It would be too far without any connections in between and cost prohibitive to connect Birdseye.
Too much lift from mechanical.
Yes.
Do you guys think if you get the I&I fixed on these manholes, you're gonna be treating a lot less water, so it could improve your
Just to
efficiency?
give you an idea, just like we had 1.7 inches of rain last night, there was over 400,000 gallons of
So
water.
you spike big time.
And our daily max is 80,000 a day. But if no rain and dry part summer, we're putting up 80, 25, 30,000 a day.
And what are you found on your permit, the phosphorus? Is that your main parameter you're found to the state on the permitting?
No, it's we're over our max.
Just max inflow?
Mhm.
And we have done quite a few different things that we could deal with. Just last year, we discovered that, I guess when the county come through and dug the ditches out, they hit one of our lines. We didn't even know it. And that came up on the smoke test again, so that we went to find it. So we're fixing a lot of the smaller things that we can do. We've been doing that for the last 10 years to help out.
So, what happens if the bids go over? I mean, you have the capacity to, who's gonna make up the, let's say it goes over 100,000, what happens?
The town will take the bids under advisement, we'll work with the engineering firm. Initially, you look to see if there's anything that can be cut, and then it's up to the town if they are able to move forward with those bids. If they are not able to move forward and come up with the missing funds, then they can choose to rebid. Or if they cannot fund the project at all, they could come back and ask for more, or they could decline the grant.
What did you say the current, was it for 4,000 gallons?
I have it calculated to 4,000 gallons because that's for the Okra requirement.
Okay.
It's $45.32 for wastewater and $53.56 for water.
How do you anticipate those rates fluctuating post-construction?
We're probably, yes, going to have to raise rates as we go through the process. That's our understanding. Raise them more than we already have.
So the water and sewer is about $90, close to $100.
It's just under 100.
The water and sewer, and that's potable water, right?
Yes, we get our water supply from Potomac. So we just did up our, not that it matters, we did up our contract with Potomac 2 years ago. Something like that.
So a couple of us, Meredith, if you want to speak to, we went out and looked at the lagoons and we checked, we looked at the drawings better and that kind of thing. I mean, it's I think our thoughts were, to have a sewer ban on the existing facility like that. And you had said that, talked about the Family Dollar store there or whatever. And the reason they got that there is because there was an existing tap there. So that's how they got that, for the expansion growth. So
we've got a new person right now who wants to build a house and they asked us to talk to us. They'll probably be our town board meeting. There's no way we can have him on, unfortunately. So we're losing revenue also down there just because of the ban.
And for the Okra application, we have sent out a survey to residents, and we've had over 60 respondents so far. For a town of Birdseye's population, that's close to 15, somewhere between 12 and 15%. That's right, just in the first couple weeks. Also, per Okra's requirement, we're having our first public hearing this Thursday at the town board meeting. So residents are invited to come and discuss the project and the issues that they currently have. I've had many respondents on the survey discuss the issues that they have, providing their contact information as well.
I guess the thing I can see for the council here is would we be willing to do that out of added funds? Help
I
that
think
fund?
what I would say to that, to add before you, ask for, I guess, for our consensus, is what we would have to do, right?
Right.
People, just that, again, without this, that there is no ability for them to raise those funds and kind of cuts them off from any growth, just like Brett had said too. So I think it's important to note, Jessica did a good job outlining it, but there is skin in the game with the, with the loan and then also the work with Okra. And then, so it's definitely seeking out all other possible partnerships or avenues before coming here, so. Just a note.
A new home builder, what would he do? Build a new septic system?
Yeah, he has to then, through the process, since we're not able to add him on, he has to come to the council. We have to approve him to do his own sewer system.
We can approve him, we can tell him he can go ahead and get tested.
To get
We
tested.
just have to tell it that he.
Theoretically, that's going to inhibit anybody wanting to build a house there.
Right.
Yes.
If you could tap onto a sewer main.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Joey, is it how many years after the early warning ban that IDEM could come out? 10 years. So we're approaching a deadline where IDEM could come in and theoretically say, you have to shut down your sewer system.
Yeah, and I had to ask that question. They really entertained all of my ridiculous questions, of which were very helpful, all your answers. And that was my question. It's like an if-then statement, because not everybody understands all of these things. So yeah, really, if that ban happens, like, you don't flush your toilet. I mean, just saying, like, drawing the line of the actual problems. So that's a problem.
Is that area like Hayesville where it's real rocky Is it rocky like Hartford?
There
septic?
is, yeah, there are a lot of, I mean, down in the park, we've dug down and hit bedrock and, yeah, there are certain
Well, the
areas.
last one that got added was in 2014, and that was kind of a misunderstanding from the previous operator. The reason that they went with the septic, they couldn't get approved for a regular septic, they had to go with the sand now, so this guy might have to do the same thing. That costs more money than them, but.
So this system is old.
Yeah, how many lift stations do you have in Birdseye?
Four big ones and 2 smaller ones.
And the lift station work on the proposed project is for lift station 1, which is located next to the lagoon.
You guys doing a lining to it, or were you just a new cost?
To the lift station, there's currently no connection with electric goes out. We cannot hook a new pump, portable pump up to it, pump up there, so electric will go out for an extended period of time, we'll just go over the truth.
So you're putting bypass in so you can hook up?
Mhm.
Okay.
So when you did the smoke testing, there were no downspouts, holes that were illegally.
There were a few things, and we are addressing those issues also. Yes, there were a few. A lot of those had been corrected from the previous smoke test. Bob, our previous superintendent, worked with a lot of our residents to try to get some of those kind of taken care of. So, most of it, we feel, is our own infrastructure. The majority of it, probably 90%.
How old did you say the system is?
Most of it was the water, I think, was put in the 60s, and this was put in, the sewer system was put in the 70s.
Do you have a clay pipe? Is that a lot of clay?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Are we ready to, any other questions? Otherwise, I think we have to make a decision tonight to keep it on schedule, so.
Yes, if you decide to approve this, I will work with the county to get the necessary documentation for our Okra submission. And I would need to have that completed by May 16th. With Okra applications, it sometimes takes a couple rounds to get approved. So we may have to do this once again this fall. But this will get us in on the first round of funding for this year.
Are we ready? So let's say all in favor of
Yeah.
50. Looks like a consensus, so.
Thank you all for your time, greatly appreciate it.
You know, look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jessica, for your work too.
Yeah.
Okay, we got. Are you ready, Sean?
Yep.
I think we're ready for you.
Good evening, Sean Werner, DuBois County Health Department. So unfortunately, I'm here tonight to let you know that our immunizations grant that funded one of our nursing positions has been cut. This 2024-2025, we received $115,009 for that position, and then we purchased some refrigerators and freezers out of that, and then a few other little supplies. But just received an email March 18th that it's going to be cut all the way down to there, it's $9,027.29. So there's no possible way I can continue that.
So it's went from 115 to 9,000.
And that's,
Why 9,000?
so that's a ballpark. So they went from a request, we had to put in an application and say this is how much money we wanted, and then they would say yes or no to that application. This year they didn't do an application, they have a pot of money and you divide it by 92 counties. So that could go
Like
up.
evenly or like by percentage or?
I'm pretty sure by evenly, but that could go up, which I'm almost sure it will go up some. Because if some health department doesn't go in, then they're gonna divvy that amount out to other health departments, but there's no possible way I'm gonna get 90-some thousand to keep that position. So tonight I'm asking for approval to move that nursing position to the COAG grant, which we received through 3 years of deliverables for COVID money that is in our funds to keep. It's fund number 177. I just need to get a transfer. I think it's $44,836 out of 177-01-01-04, which was the construction line item, and you move that to personnel services for the nurse for the 6 months from July 1 this year, 2025, to December 31st of 2025, and then the next year's budget, I would then keep this position in that fund until it runs out again. Currently, there's enough in there. I don't have a lot of other cuts, and I need to get more out of this fund. There should be enough in there, roughly 7 to 8 years, 6, 7 years, if we can manage it properly. And at that point, then we would just have to pursue other funding, or you guys would have to make the decision. Because when it was created, when the grant ends, the position ends. But since it's moving from one grant to another grant, I talked to Chad Bussey, Commissioner, he acted like, since it's going from one grant to another, he wouldn't need to reapprove the position since there's already a nurse in this grant. He would be fine with moving it as long as you guys are okay with doing that.
Was this a federal grant?
The COVID funds, yes, but it was a deliverables-based grant. So we took it for 3 years, and each year we got $440,000 for deliverables that we completed for COVID. So once we did those deliverables, that money was sent to us in payment for what we did, and it's non-reverting, so it's ours to use until we use it up.
And you want to touch a little bit again, I brought up the state legislature. I mean, what I hear, they're going to look at cutting.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen yet. I talked with Daryl Schmidt and Lindauer, Shane Lindauer, two representatives that I knew of from the area, and they kind of forewarned me that there's possible cuts, but they didn't really know what the consensus of what it was going to be, how much. And he said, they can't guarantee it could go back up to the $150 million the state budgeted in 2025, but that's kind of be out in the air. We'll know at the end of April, I think, and we'll have a very short window to get our budget approved and to you guys and then back to the state.
Okay. Is this as far as the budget of all the money that came a couple of years ago?
So that's HFI.
Health First India.
And now is it on the docket to take that down?
Well, that was legislatively approved in the budget, so it's not a grant, it's state dollars budgeted to local health departments, and we got $22 and some change per capita, so multiply by 43,000 times 22, it's roughly 857,000 is what we received. And we were kind of told that's what it's going to be from here on out as long as legislation keeps approving it. This year, I guess they ran into, some shortfalls, or, they realized that, something's got to change in the whole overall state budget. And I think they're looking at what they can and can't cut. And I don't know, it could be on the docket. It may not be, I don't know.
That was short-lived.
They really won't tell us. I mean, they're right now they have in the proposed budget $100 million, so that's a 30% cut, which will be huge for us because we put our blood, sweat, and tears for 2 years developing all these programs and hiring all these individuals to provide the programs, doing all the training, and just getting the public using the services. And now they pull it out from underneath us. It's going to look bad on our parts, like, oh, we were just kidding. We don't want to do it for a year. I don't know. We're just going to have to do the best we can.
Well, thanks. I think we're following up on that. I guess we got 3 weeks before they go on.
I don't know for sure when they the final the date is. Is it 3 weeks?
It's about 3 weeks.
They told me the end of April.
So what do we want to do on first here? Just to I just transfer.
The transfer that I have, I sent you today from capital outlay 44,836 to personal services. That's divided out to the nurses' pay, 29,309, FICA 2,243, health insurance 10,001, and PERF 3,283.
And this is, I understand you right, this is from July 1, this is for
6 months, yeah, July 1 to December 31st.
Yeah,
'Cause,
what he has now will last until June.
yes, the grant that we currently have now will last until June 30th. If this is a July to June or June, July grant, it's not.
It's on a state fiscal year, not a county fiscal year.
So any more questions before we act on this transfer? I mean, you got the funds, so it's just us making it. So I'll entertain, I guess, no questions, I'll entertain that transfer approval. Dina has made a motion, you have a second? Meredith seconded. Further discussion, otherwise all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay,
Now with that, I will need a salary ordinance to pay her, or the nurse, $2,093.45 biweekly, which is what she's making right now.
I think there's a whole lot to discuss there if we approve the transfer, so I'll need a, someone needs to make a motion for the salary ordinance, which you just repeated, $2,093.45 bi-weekly.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Ryan has made a motion, I have a second.
I'll second.
Doug has seconded, so further discussion. All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed?
No, we need for me.
You can't resell some of that construction work, can you, tear it down?
That's where we pulled it out of. We
That money left over.
we didn't need all of it. Thankfully, we knew we wouldn't go that high, so we just put it in there just in case.
Okay, well, thanks for the work.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good evening. Okay.
Just came to introduce myself. I know some of you were able to be at the launch of the IRAX program, but I'm the new Director of Forensic Services for the jail program, so. I had to get one announced, but
Could you come up and just, I don't know if you've all followed it, some of us were there, but just brief us on it a little bit if you would.
my name is Vanessa Phillips. I'm the Director of Forensic Services for RISE Peer Recovery. We're a grassroots nonprofit peer recovery organization. What that means is we are people with lived experience that started a nonprofit to be the face and voice of recovery in the communities we serve. And one of the programs that the state has helped us pilot is a IRAX program, which is an integrated reentry and correctional support program. Long story short, we put peers in jails and we help people try to reenter community with more support, helping them be successful once they leave jail after a period of time, get employment, birth certificates, social security cards, clothing, find housing, connect with sober supports, sober programs, and kind of just meet them where they're at. We also have a community-based team, so we're kind of like a full circle program. So if someone is living in the community and they never go to jail, they can still work with us because we have a community team. We don't charge for our services, we're completely free. We're sustained by donations and grant funding, and all the services that we try to connect people with are easily accessible.
It was a great presentation out there. And great.
How was the turnout?
It was good.
Was it good?
Yeah, and we've had really good success. We've been in the jail for a week now. We have all the intakes done, and we've started to kind of integrate within the jail, and they've been very helpful, helping us kind of catch people before they leave. We give them release packets if they've gone out over the weekend. We've started to identify people for programming while they're incarcerated while they remain in jail, get them engaged in different groups. We collaborate with probation, community corrections, pretrial release, and like I said, just kind of intervene along all the different systems to try to meet people where they're at and get them plugged in.
And how old is your program and how did it begin?
Yeah, so we started, the IREX program started in 2022. Rise Pure Recovery was awarded an opportunity to be a pilot site in Indiana. And so in Davies County, we launched one of the first IREX programs in July of 2022. And we've been tracking our success through data points, primarily collecting recidivism rates and reentry success. And then also kind of anecdotal success stories, you know, kind of those things that you can't measure. We've been able to take the recidivism rate in Davies County for those that stay engaged with our program post-incarceration down to 13%, which the average state rate in Indiana is about 35%. So we've seen really good success. We've had better success collaborating with our system partners like our prosecutor's office, our probation office, cutting down on petition to revokes for people that become disengaged in the criminal justice system. We've had more people show up for court hearings that are involved with our program after they get out of jail, and just kind of stay plugged in, I guess, so to speak. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? I plan to be as present as I possibly can. We do help 13 counties in Southwest Indiana, and we share that workload with another nonprofit, so we do our best to try to divide and conquer. So some of our counties are bigger than others, so I just want to make sure they all know what we're doing and who we are, and there's spaces to the work that we're doing. I'll try to share success stories as they come about. So I've already been able to get a birth certificate for someone.
Well, thank you. I think, you know, when we started planning this new jail, I mean, this was part of it, that we never had room to be able to do these kind of things. And with the new jail pod, we thought this is ideal.
Yeah, great. Yeah, the jail's been very accommodating. So I think we've already have a whole pod dedicated to like a therapeutic community. So
that's great.
One for the men and one for the women. So it definitely makes it easier to change the culture inside the jail when everyone in the same housing is working toward the same end goal, or working toward the same things. We've seen that in Davies County. They've had the RARE program over there for almost 20 years, I think. So yeah, when everyone has structure and working toward the same objective, you know, it's easier when they're in the same housing.
Are you gonna present to the Community Corrections Board? Because it seems like we talk about the type of programs that you are administering every meeting, and I know you probably met and talked to people individually, but some of the people are, you know, not elected and they may not know about it.
Yeah, Wyatt has invited me to come to that meeting and send me the JRAC meeting just to make sure I'm staying plugged in and sharing kind of what we're doing. Everything that we do is evidence-based in the work. We're all credentialed. We have, you know, I just finished my CEUs for my certification today that we have to have regularly. So we're staying in touch with kind of what's, you know, best practices. And so we try to share our knowledge and information with other system partners too, on what are the trends we're seeing in the recovery world. You know, what are our clients telling us their needs are, you know, what's science telling us the needs are, what's the state telling us. So we kind of take all that information and do what we can to help our communities, like try new things, try different things, improve systems. That's kind of what my task is within our organization, is to do just that. I haven't gotten on my calendar yet. I gotta get with Wyatt to figure out when that meeting is.
Yeah, I can tell you when the next meeting is if you want to visit. Should be in April.
I do appreciate that your meetings are in the evenings, because in Davies County, they're at 8 in the morning.
Commissioners meet at 8.
Commissioners are on Monday mornings.
May 13th would be the next community corrections.
Okay, perfect.
You want a sticky note? I'll make you one.
I'll put it in my cell phone as soon as I live by the same. We have 3 children, so.
Well, thank you, Bill.
Absolutely. And I hope you all have, I tried to send out an email to all of you, but some of them got returned because I have a Gmail and I think your county government doesn't love.
Barracuda does not like
It does not
mass emails from
Yeah.
Gmail or
So,
Yahoo or anything like
Some
that.
of you may have received an email from me and some of you may not. But I don't have any business cards on me, but I'll make sure you all have my contact information. So if you want to email me or have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
If you want to send one to me, I can forward it to them otherwise.
Perfect. I've come to find the mass email is not like.
Well, thank you for
Absolutely.
taking the time.
Absolutely, anytime, if you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thank you.
I don't.
I'll do this for you.
It's me.
I'll send you a test email.
S.L. Morton.
S-L-M-O-R-T-O-N
At Dubois County, IN.org.
You guys one of them didn't get it?
I've seen pictures of the meeting.
Not on the website too.
Looked like it was good.
She's over here.
First name, Sandy. Morton on yonder.
S-A-N-D-Y.
And then,
I do the intro too there.
I just sent it to that email.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Case. What I thought we could do here to just discuss this, in our budget, we had set aside a budgeted money for the cost grants, which were turned down. And I'd like to make an appropriation reduction of that, take that back out of the budget for 2025. So I think it's sent this, but it's two cops grant deputies for $61,602 each, so a total of, out of the general fund, $123,204. Does anybody get discussion on this, or, I can say, I think when we reviewed the notes of our meeting, it was contingent on getting those cops grants.
That's not what
So I'll entertain, if there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve this reduction ordinance of $123,204.
I'll make that motion to appropriate the reduction.
Okay, so we have a motion, Meredith, made a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
Sonia second, so further discussion, otherwise all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay.
Okay.
Sandy, do
You want me
wanna
to take
lead-
over?
Yeah, why don't you lead this?
Okay. I'm gonna start with the general fund additional appropriations. I have one for unemployment, $12,500. We're getting hit with some claims, and we cannot deny them. The county is not an insurance. It's set up as we pay as we go. And when people apply for jobs, like they leave us, they go somewhere else, then they leave there, then they fall back on us, and we cannot deny it because it's in the back so many quarters. So we've been hit with a couple of claims, and we need more money in the line item.
How much did you say?
$12,500. In the commissioners, we budget for $7,500, and we're gonna be over that this
What does that
year.
mean, pay as we go? Sorry.
Most businesses pay like an insurance. Sonia can probably explain this better than I can. They pay like an insurance with every payroll. You pay like an insurance for that employee.
Right.
County government does not.
Okay.
We pay,
I didn't realize.
if you file, we pay your claim.
Got
Otherwise, it's kind of like your business is paying in advance and they're sort of holding
Holding
back in case somebody files for unemployment, whereas here, if somebody, you're not
We don't
paying
believe,
out anything, you're just waiting till somebody files unemployment and then they have to pay them.
Because of the way we're structured. you would
It-
have to
it's the
manage it
way-
that
It's so we're not paying insurance out there that we're never, we go years without having any claims.
Yeah.
And this year we're getting hit with quite a few, so.
And that's like,
Now, if we get claims that we can fight, Marky does fight them. and
Okay.
Sometimes we win.
that was gonna be my other question.
Right.
Yeah.
But when people leave and go to somebody else and then leave there,
Because it's
sometimes it
goes
can come back on
somewhere.
us. Because it's in those quarters.
But that's like something through like state board of account, who says that we get to do that as a county? I mean, I agree that we should do it that way, but it's just how.
It's
it
been
all
set
done.
up that way, I don't know.
It makes sense. Okay.
Do we know how many quarters you have to work for the county government?
I don't know if it's
That,
5
no,
or
I
6,
don't
or I don't really know that.
Don't you have to be somewhere like in normal, in the outside government, like for a year before they would?
See, I thought it was 5 or 6 quarters, but I could be off on that.
I'm not sure.
That's
how
more
many
of a-
orders
better.
like for them to collect. I'm
Right.
not sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's more of a
Yeah.
Marky issue.
Because that's why they come back, they may stay at the new place for 2 months. and then they-
Exactly.
And they'll go
But
back
it's
to
not
the
been long
oldest
enough
employer first. They
try
go
and
back and,
recover.
yeah, and then they'll just move forward, but once they use that up, if somebody's still collecting unemployment, then they'll go to the next employer.
That's true with county government or outside of county.
That's-
Outside.
That's with
Outside.
any
Yeah,
unemployment
yeah,
claim.
yeah,
Okay.
got it. Okay,
So
well,
would-
thanks for explaining all that.
so would we do the 12-5 separately then?
That's what I have first. Because they're in different, these are in
Okay, that's
different
fine.
budgets.
So let's, I'll entertain a motion to approve that additional appropriation of 12,500.
Make that motion.
Ryan has made a motion, we have
Second.
Meredith is second. So further discussion, otherwise all in favor say aye. Any-
Okay, then the next claim, and the next thing I need is, under workman's comp insurance, I need $4,000, that's in the commissioner's budget. Our mod rate, I had Mike and Chad sit down with Tim Bell, our insurance agent, and our mod rates are up, our claims are up, our costs are up, and our payroll is up, it gets based on all those numbers.
Okay, so discussion is there, otherwise I'll entertain a motion for that $4,000.
I'll make a motion for the 4,000.
Okay, Ryan has made a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
Dean has second, so all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
Thank you. The next thing I have is the DuBois County Hazmat Task Force. That fund has $4,230.22. Tammy at EMA would like to use that money with some of her other funding to get new fit test equipment. And by using this, that would close this fund out.
Anybody want to ask what fit test equipment is?
know
I had
what it is.
to ask.
I think I know what it is.
Because I
To see if
didn't know.
somebody's fit for duty for a particular type of.
No, it's something with masks, air masks.
Oh, like N95 masks. I thought it was like fit for duty, like you
No.
can lift this much weight.
No,
and
it's
It's the,
it's
you know.
it's
the
like
carry
it was,
tank.
yeah. It's the physical fitting of the mask. Yeah, no, I get it. But I'm glad you asked.
So now, maybe I'll just learn something.
So you sure that.
Yeah, this hazmat task force had this money in for quite a while and it was sitting there, and I'm glad she's kind of using it up.
Yeah, they want to do this.
So then like, that fund just goes away.
That fund will be closed.
Closed.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Doug has made
I'll
a
second.
motion. Ryan has seconded. So further discussion, otherwise all in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Passes.
Okay, the next thing I have, Brent was here last month to talk about the community crossings matching grant of $250,000.
So we get all in favor of that. I mean, we discussed it. I mean, I think we can report to the commissioners maybe that the roads didn't incur as much freezing and thawing damage, but I mean, they still got a lot of, you know, they still had some, so I think that's what was our discussion. So is that still okay with everyone? Anybody got
Well, this is
questions?
the community crossings matching, where you guys had said you do half and he took the $259,000.
Yeah,
for the million. That's what this one is.
okay,
I think you're talking about the next one though,
okay.
or the,
Paving project,
yes.
I'm sorry, okay. So this one was active.
That's for the match, yeah. I'll make the motion to approve the 250 to the matching grant.
So Ryan has made a motion, I have a second.
I'll second.
Sonia has seconded. So further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
Okay, then I'm gonna go to the highway one you just talked about, the highway paving projects.
Okay,
He asked if you could do 290,000.
so we need discussion there. Anyone got any additional add to that? Favor of that? That's coming out of, no, that's coming out of highway.
Highway,
So they have the money for that, right, the paving projects?
yes.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve that 290,000 if there's no questions or.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Doug has made a motion, I have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, so. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Okay. The other thing Brett talked about was Cume Bridge, the small structure inspections, $6,000.
There again, I think he explained that to us, so I'll entertain a motion. If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve that $6,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
So we heard the motion, Ryan seconded, so further discussion, otherwise all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
The next one I have is in Cume Cap, is on, we may have to make some changes to it, but, the commissioners approved doing the courthouse security video system upgrade and the additional cameras, which is on there. They tabled the door access upgrade and the annual maintenance fee because I was getting more numbers, which, where did I write it down? Doug, Astro Security gave me upgraded numbers for the door access and the annual maintenance because we added some more doors at the courthouse, which changed the numbers I had to advertise. So instead of those bottom two being 6,325, it needed to be 9,645, and the annual maintenance, instead of being 1,560, was raised to 2,106. So you can see I won't have enough there for
So
that.
how do you want to handle that? You just want to approve the,
Well, we can do it one of two ways. If you guys think the door access is worth it, we can, or if you're accepting of that, we can do this and then I'll do another additional to get the additional money. Or you can table it, I can advertise for additional, we can do them both next time. Or if the commissioners don't agree with it, we won't do it at all.
the bill.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't have the numbers from him when I went to press, so.
But I think when they verified all the numbers, that's when the doors, I should say.
Yeah, he had given me that and then Scott said, oh, I added more door, or, there was more doors, so then it changed the numbers.
I think the I can elaborate a little bit on the video upgrades you almost have to do because they're outdated, all the cameras, they have to replace those, they're obsolete.
And the system is, the camera or the computer that holds all the videos has to be upgraded.
And then we're adding additional cameras, I think, they're putting some toward the annex, because if someone slip or do something, we have that film and security also.
And then treasurer's office with
Treasurer's office,
collections.
they're gonna try to do a better job there. So those are probably, all needed. But I guess the door access, I think the big discussion is, now when they change a door tag or number, they have to go back to the computer at the
EMA office.
So,
Which the computer it was on actually failed and we had to get a new computer for it.
now it's more, I don't know, how is that?
It's web-based, isn't it?
It's not web-based, it's on a computer at EMA only.
Now, but in the future.
If we'd upgrade, it would be web-based where more people can have access, more people can change it.
It's the same one that I have. I have the same system.
Yes, if any upgrades Doug can get in on the web and just change it, where now he has to go out to EMA.
And really, anyone, you can give access to, anyone that would need access, and you can grant them access to any door.
Right.
It's pretty.
And if you have lockdowns, if they can, any security officer can get on and lock us
You can
down.
shut her down. I
Right.
think it's
That's
money
awesome.
well spent. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the headache of it alone.
Do you think the 2106 annually is expensive? That's what it costs annually.
That's what it costs for the fees, yeah, it's X amount per door.
Right, and then it's,
Whether or not does every door need it?
I don't know that, but he was telling me that
You gotta be-
even the backing up of the system, right now Tammy puts it on a little flash drive. That's how we're backing up our doors.
Yeah, I think it's money well spent, even the annual maintenance. We love ours.
And really, if you're putting it on the cloud, you're paying for the cloud to
That's
store
what
it.
you're paying for.
You're-
And
you're-
the
you're-
That's the
service.
way everything is anymore, subscription based.
Yes.
You don't have to do it that way.
Do you know the total of doors? It just seems like a lot of doors.
I had it, I don't have it.
100 doors?
No, I don't think it's that many. 20,
Was that 28?
20 something, yeah, I had it, it's over there, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Which I didn't have the updated.
Yeah. It's this building and that building.
Part of it.
I think
You
it's a
want to
cost of
handle
doing
it,
business.
just approve this and let her have the additional.
Could we approve it with the additional close to show it would cover it? If it would.
You can't go over what I advertised.
Yeah.
So I can advertise for the remaining part, and then if the commissioners don't agree with it, it's not gonna get used.
And that's coming out of Cume Cap.
Yeah.
All of it.
What's easier for you?
Approving it and let me do the additional next month.
That makes sense to me.
But
But she could get moving with the approval.
we could at least,
Videos.
At least you can start.
At least know we got the ball moving.
right,
I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's okay.
yeah, see, we bought a PC for the desk in the corridor house, not the camera system up in the other office, but the one down here, and it can't even do it because, we can't even use it because it's not Windows 11 compatible.
So what are these total then? I mean, what would we be advertising, or what would we be approving tonight, the dollar amount?
Well, if you wanted to approve the whole 30,475, it would be for these 4 things down here.
30,000.
And then I would do another additional next month to cover the difference, which is $3,866.
I would make that motion to approve the 30,475.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor here.
I'll second.
Okay, Doug is seconded. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Okay, so I'll come back next time with 3,866.
So that's it for the additional.
Airport,
One of the back.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot to put it on there.
So what, can you explain that a little better, what they're doing? Because they didn't touch on this when we were in here.
The airport, since they are not an elected board, you guys have to approve their additionals. Their board would like to do $1 million out of their airport general fund and $300,000 out of their rainy day fund towards their terminal project.
Okay, so do we have to approve, they're both, one of them's rainy day and one of them's.
Yeah, you have to do them both individually,
Okay,
sorry.
so does anybody have any objection to this or any discussions? Like, it's their money, we're gonna need it to. So
Knew it was coming.
Well, like I said,
this is.
their board did all the stuff, they just can't approve it, you guys have to.
So I'll entertain a motion and to approve that. Yes, that's a transfer of $1 million.
It's an additional appropriation, they've advertised.
So why some out of the general, why some out of the rainy day?
I guess it's where they have money.
Okay, it's just sitting, that's just where it's being held.
It's kind of like when you do additionals here, they have to make sure that they have the money and then they,
Okay.
Anyone want to make a motion for that $1 million?
Make the motion.
Okay, Alex has made a
I'll
motion.
second that.
Ryan has seconded, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
okay? And then the other one's a rainy day, their rainy day fund for $300,000.
Okay, so discussion on that, otherwise I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Doug has made a motion, I have a second.
I'll second.
Sonia seconded, so all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
But how it's groundbreaking?
Great day.
I've never seen another one. Right, so it was unique.
Ken, just one, again, we've been having issues, I hope this doesn't continue, but, in the Marquis room here, the air conditioning unit went out, and it's, they had to reorder, so that's like $5,975 that Scott's gonna use out of his maintenance fund. Okay.
That's not part of the chiller?
Nope,
Okay.
Where's that AC unit?
over on the wall.
Just a,
I can let you in there and see it.
like a window type.
No, it's like a,
P-TAC?
It's a long,
is that what it's called? I don't know.
The long one.
Separate from the main
Real
thing
long
though.
one. So, I mean, we're not approving it, he's taking it out of his budget, just so you know, but, and then, on, let's see, Saturday, the 22nd of March, one of the, during the night or sometime, one of the units, the fan call units up in the ceiling, started leaking and ran down, and covered the area by the holding cells and then dripped down on, I think, on the clerk's office and set off an alarm. So the fire department came or whatever, and then they found it. So we were lucky that we found it because I think I got a picture at 5 o'clock. Somebody sent it to me that they were vacuuming the water up and doing this. So that's going to be
I think it notified Scott like at 3:30 in the morning or something like that. 3:30 in the morning. Thank God it ran down and hit a smoke detector or something in the basement from the second floor.
So that's going to cost the county about $6,725 because they had to almost get that ordered. Otherwise, so it's getting warm. They're not going to be able to hold prisoners in these cells. I mean, that's the area anyway up in the courthouse. They got little rooms up there. That they hold them temporarily while they're. So I just wanted to let you know that. So he, when his maintenance budget runs out,
He's gonna be coming back.
So both of those came from me.
Got it. So we don't have to approve that.
Got it.
I mean, the other thing, we were discussing here, the budget hearing, in August, we ought to really try to set those dates and, the August, I mean, we can go through the rest of the year, but I don't know if we're ready to do that. You guys, everyone about this, but anyway, on August 11th, that's a Monday, 8 o'clock, if that would work for everyone. August 11th at 8 o'clock for the budget hearing.
Should, I appreciate you setting that.
And then our regular August meeting would be August 25th at 4:30. That's the last Monday of the month, technically.
Okay.
So we wouldn't interfere with we would have council and commission meetings the same day. Does that work for everybody?
August 11th might be hard.
Is it?
So I have a conference in Chicago. I don't know back, but I might be back. I'll let me look.
Okay, so
So
should we
we're fair enough.
relatively set it then?
Because we'd have to do August 11th, could have been 12. We
Well,
have to do them on Monday.
That's true.
Last year you did it on Wednesday.
I don't know that I'll be back in time from Chicago.
I mean, I don't think it affects me. I mean,
I could do that Tuesday.
let's see. I mean, do we want to meet on a Tuesday?
That works for me.
Get everybody here, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. Let's make it.
Okay.
Does that work with you, Sandy, or?
I'm checking the room, but I'm sure it's,
I mean, it's a day of fun, all day. We're gonna need a room.
Just do me.
No.
nope.
You go, stand on our goes.
If you're not if you're not here in attendance, you can't vote.
That's right, you can just hear.
August. The room is available,
It is available.
as far as I can tell. Well, hold on, it's not letting me see it from here, but I'll make sure it is.
So let's put down August 12th then.
Is that all
Yeah.
That's when you have to bring ice cream and candy.
I will take care of
All
it.
our donuts.
I'll restock.
Um, You probably will want to maybe start looking at when we can have the budget adoption
October.
and all that in October,
I didn't know if you wanted to do that tonight or give that thought, and then we could do it next month.
and do it whenever.
Set the rest of the year. If everybody can kind of check their calendars for the rest of the year.
Sure.
Then we could try
Sounds
to.
good.
I know my calendar says there's AIC stuff on September 29th. I don't know if you guys go to that. I don't know where it even is. Is it
That's the one last year that was all booked up, wasn't it?
I think you're right, yes,
So nobody went to that.
yeah. I think that is the one.
and that was at Belterra?
That was a
Yes.
So then it'll probably either go back to French Liquor or go up north.
He
I
told
hope
me,
it's French Lick.
I thought he told me
Much
he
nicer
ordered
than
that
it's
thing,
supposed
that
to.
he's gonna do it at French Lick.
Which is, that helps us.
It does.
But it is that 29th, 30th that week, so
What is that, October?
Let me see.
September.
September
Sam, I can't
29th, 30th.
Alex.
Yeah, so why don't we do that? Why don't you check the date?
We'll look at the dates and
Yeah,
then
and
next time have it.
let's,
Okay.
let's set it next month. And then everybody can look at vacations or whatever, or, if you're going or something.
Okay.
Public comment?
These are set the 25th night for the regular meeting. or-
Yes,
That's
at
what-
4:30.
Before 30.
And what was the October date?
We haven't.
We're gonna do that next time, I think.
So right now, we're set through August.
Yeah, if you could check, you know, if you're gonna.
Because those are like fall break times and
Yeah.
stuff, so.
If you don't wanna.
Are you wanting to plan any now or just? be
No,
ready?
that's next
Be ready.
month.
Okay.
Just look.
I just wanted to bring that up because I had it
It's
on my
usually,
calendar.
it's usually the last, we usually might meet the last Monday of the month.
Yeah.
So if that works. That's fine.
Like August 25th is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, that's,
You know, no,
August is set?
yeah, 20.
Well, for all day, the 25th for the regular fourth Monday of the month. But
Yeah,
then
that's
we
like
didn't set
4:30.
anything from September on.
Yeah, I didn't have August.
That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about right now.
Yeah.
Set that at 4:30.
He's thinking of Chicago.
I'm in Chicago. Okay.
Okay, so, does that, someone have anything else for the benefit of the council?
I do not.
Nina?
I have just a quick thing, something to be expecting, that I've been talking with Soil and Water. They were notified by the state that their lease has the potential to be terminated. And they were to come up with a contingency plan and present it to the commissioners and the council. So they were gonna come give us an update. They have no clue what's gonna happen. The USDA, where they're at, some of the programs getting furloughed. So we've discussed options of what could maybe and maybe not work down the road, and I had met with them and we had discussed maybe the possibility of having a little space out at the 4-H that we were gonna talk with commissioners about, and I believe that's what they're going to do. And come back here, and if anyone has ideas as well, I think they're just looking for feasible options, because they have no budget for lease.
So they lose some of their grant money too for local projects.
It's all for even the testing in the soil.
Yes.
Yeah, so they have a little bit of money left in there to do some, but like that's, it'll be dried up, so. it'll be interesting. So I'm expecting an update. They have a meeting coming up. I plan to attend, but I'll give you guys an update.
Thanks.
Yep.
More just on a personal note, belonging to another board, the Being Brothers, the Health and Wellness Foundation, it's unrelated to this, but because they do provide grant funds to the community in terms of health and wellness, I would say thanks to Mike and Ryan for attending that open house.
That was a packed open house.
Just to be aware of the, just those opportunities that are out there, you know, there are lots of things that touch health and wellness, and it's a pretty broad term, so if there are people that come to us and we can't fund for some reason, you know, that there's other funding sources, I guess, so just from that note, but yeah, we had a great turnout, so.
It's awesome.
Really good.
It was really nice.
Yeah,
What was that?
it's good. The Being for Others Health and Wellness Foundation. I'm a new board member on that since January, and was the open house chair, so we were glad to have a lot of people there,
She got
so.
a big,
Yeah.
taking her name on the board.
Ask people by email to come attend.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, they had to have a city police and everybody.
Yeah, they shut the road down.
To get it.
Some awkward parking there, for sure.
Alex, do you have anything?
Nope, nothing.
Doug, would you?
Nothing new.
Okay. All right, Sandy.
Just like I told you earlier, the audit is gonna start this week for 2024.
You had mentioned to me that you were wanting to
Where that comes from.
possibly State Board of Accounts audit.
Oh,
If
sure.
you would want to attend that, it's at 11:30.
We're gonna have an entrance conference Wednesday in my office at 11:30, and you're welcome to come if you're not coming.
So we
Good to go represent us.
and I'll be there. I don't think there is anything else, so.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second.
So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Close the meeting. What's coming?
Enjoy your Monday.
Yeah, that's everybody ready for the meeting? How much we should ask?
I had, out at Joe, so